welcome to one of the most exclusive luxury cars on the road. No, it's not a Rolls-Royce or a Bentley. Instead, it's the DS9.
If you're wondering exactly what a DS is then, it's the premium French arm of the humongous Stellantis group that includes manufacturers such as Citroën, Peugeot, Vauxhall and even Alfa Romeo, to name but a few. As a result, the DS9 shares its underpinnings with the Peugeot 508, yet the former is notably more expensive, straying into the territory of the BMW 5 Series and Audi A6.
As rivals go, it doesn't get much tougher than that. But the DS9 does have a few tricks up its sleeve that may just tempt you away from the big sellers. I'm Hope Ellen, and this is another Parker's Cars review.
At the time of filming, the DS9 comes with a choice of 4 engine specifications. There's the base 1.6 litre 4-cylinder petrol and 3 plug-in hybrids with varying levels of performance and range. The priciest being the E-Tense 4x4 360, which, unsurprisingly, is all-wheel drive and makes 360 horsepower.
Right, we're going to go straight in to talking about the interior because it's probably the biggest talking point on this car. I mean, look at it. This Rivoli Plus model is bathed in Nappa leather and gets wonderful details like this BRM clock that's integrated into the dashboard. Plus, you can get the leather in a few different colours too. This car doesn't have it, but you can get the £3,000 Opera interior, which grants you Alcantara headlining, pearl stitching and a few other goodies. But regardless, this cabin is just dripping with French flair and exuberance. However, while the quality levels are largely very good, especially on a generously spec'd model like this one, there are a few disappointments. For example, this car costs over £53,000, yet you have to make do with controls that are recycled from far cheaper Stellantis models. I mean, this gear lever is the same you'd find in a Peugeot 208 Super Mini. Not the end of the world, but you have to acknowledge the fact that this level of part sharing is not something you'd find in an Audi or a BMW of a similar price. Something else that feels weak in comparison to rivals is the infotainment system. It's a 12-inch touchscreen, and while you get enough functionality, it's slow to respond and doesn't feel intuitive. And to add insult, there's no physical buttons for the climate control. So if you want to cool yourself down quickly because you're having a bit of a hot flush, you're going to have to prod around at the screen. Not ideal. Thankfully, the 12.3-inch digital dashboard display isn't bad. It gives you a wide range of information and presents it with plenty of clarity. As for ergonomics, the seating position is low slung, which does take some getting used to if you're hopping out of a regular hatchback or SUV. I'm also struggling a bit to see out the rear window, and the door mirrors would ideally be a touch larger. You'll also note that cruise control and your mirror adjuster are hidden behind the steering wheel. Odd place to put them? Maybe, but if this was your own car, it would only take you a couple of weeks to get familiar with it. Finally, storage space is pretty good in this car. You've got some very large door pockets, which are lined to stop any rattling, a decent pair of cup holders hidden just here, and the usual space under the armrest and in the glove box. Voila!
The DS9 is available with primary trim levels that are subdivided depending on whether you opt for a plug-in hybrid powertrain. Whatever your choice though, all models come as standard with the digital dashboard display, keyless entry and keyless start, electrically adjustable heated front seats and a reversing camera.
It's rather plush sitting in the back of the DS9, especially when the car in question is fitted with the optional Opera interior or Rivoli lounge pack, and that's because they include this rear lounge armrest, lovely stuff, heated and ventilated rear seats, as well as, get this, massage function. Now that's impressive and relaxing.
Overall space in the back of the DS9 is impressive, but taller passengers may feel that headroom is a little tight thanks to that sloping roofline. This is especially the case on cars fitted with the optional sunroof. Meanwhile, boot space measures up at 510 litres, which is about on par with rivals. The hybrid battery pack robs some space and does mean the boot floor is a little on the shallow side, but this isn't uncommon.
We're going to take this French saloon car for a drive in a moment, but first I want to check how user-friendly it is with a test I like to call Hope's Car Olympics. So against the clock, I'm going to fold down the rear seats so they're flat, set the radio to Absolute FM and ask the sat-nav to take me to Buckingham Palace. Now I'm a lady who likes to be prepared. Today I'm wearing these shoes, but they are not suitable. Flats please! They're going to make me so speedy, so we're not going to fall behind the leaderboard. Go! Right, we're going to come round here to the boot. Oh, open, open, open. Just as I expected. Now this is the Rivoli lounge pack. It doesn't allow me to fold down the seats because of all that fancy schmancy stuff, so I can't do that today. It's not my error, it's the car's. We're going to open this up, jump in the front seat. Right, and now we're going to set the sat-nav to Buckingham Palace. So you press here, and it should take me straight to the sat-nav. Search, a bit breathless, after thinking of all that catching of the shoes, to be honest with you. Search, type in here, Buckingham. I like the feedback of the sound. Might be a bit annoying over some time though. It's quite slow at searching. It's not asking me or suggesting things for me. Buckingham Palace, that's happening, okay. Calculating, 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 calculating. I quite like how it's loading though, it's nice. Right, we're there. Now we're gonna go to music and we're gonna go to Absolute FM. Oh, this is not clear at all. List, Absolute Radio. Here's some music to prove
It's
it.
no win, no fee, no risk.
Wasn't music, was it? It was just a lady. Well, I'll tell you what. That was actually easier than I thought it would be when I went onto list. Presets, obviously you would get used to that in your own car. You would decide what they were. So if you're jumping in for the first time, go on to lists. Quite disappointed I couldn't fold down the rear seats because that's one of the main things about practicality. But there are ISOFIX points, so if you have got little ones, there is that use for you. Right, I'm going to sit back, turn on the massage function, and take this baby for a drive. So, the model of DS9 that I'm driving now is the eTense 225. It's basically a plug-in hybrid with a combined output of 225 horsepower. However, I won't spend too long talking about it because it won't be on sale in the UK for that much longer. Instead, you'll have the choice of the eTense 250 and eTense 4x4 360 versions.
In the case of the former, it's pretty similar to the 225, but the battery is bigger. That means, along with the 1.6 litre petrol engine, you get a 15.6 kilowatt-hour battery pack, giving you an electric range of up to 43 miles. Charging up from 0 to 100% via a 7 kilowatt wallbox charger takes around 2 hours and 25 minutes.
The other benefit of the 250 is that the performance is slightly better, and that's thanks to the larger battery and extra 25 horsepower. Plus, it remains in the same BIK bracket at 11%. Having said that, a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 8.1 seconds for the 250 is behind many of its rivals. Also, while the powertrain is nice and refined in normal driving, it does start to sound harsh and thrashy when you accelerate hard. All DS9s get an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now, while it's not up there with units from its main German rivals, it does do a decent enough job.
This particular one is being run on the Parker's long-term fleet, so we know that it's averaging a real-world fuel economy figure of around 40 miles per gallon. If you want to know more, head over to the parkers.co.uk website, where you'll be able to read a full series of written reports. In order to improve comfort levels, the DS9 is available with something called Active Scan Suspension. What this does is use a camera to monitor the road ahead and prime the suspension for whatever is coming up, such as a dip or pothole.
It sounds like it could be a gimmick, but actually, the DS9 is a really nice ride. It's smooth, composed, and not too floaty, and wind and road noise are kept to low levels. Just be aware that if you go for the 4x4 360 version of the DS9, it comes with larger wheels and stiffer suspension. The upshot of that is a drive that's sharper, but it's also more uncomfortable and kind of spoils the point of the luxurious DS9. You've also got to bear in mind, whatever spec you go for in this car, it ain't gonna be sporty. This car is designed to shrug off long motorway journeys, so while there's nothing wrong with the handling, it's not exactly what you'd call fun. If you're tempted to buy yourself this exclusive luxury French saloon, then here's my top recommendations. For the cheapest, you'll want the non-hybrid PureTech 225. If you are a company car user, then the car for you is the E-Tense 250. And finally, if you care the most about performance, then you should go for the E-Tense 4x4 360 version.
There's no denying that the DS9 is an intriguing and likeable alternative among the usual saloon car suspects. It's comfortable, chic, and has a decent selection of plug-in hybrid models that should cater for most buyers.
However, at the time of filming, the DS9's projected resale values are below average, and that means PCP offers aren't as competitive as many rivals. For many, this will be a deal breaker, and although this car is blessed with charm, we'd be hard pressed to say it's worth paying over the odds for when compared to similarly priced rivals from BMW, Audi and Mercedes-Benz. If you do buy one though, the Rivoli Plus E-Tense 250 is your best bet, and if you're feeling really flush, why not throw in the Opera interior pack as well?